The long-haired girl in front of her appeared to be human, but she was not. She was a mermaid. She had come to land to eat Hinako because the special blood inside Hinako was incredibly tempting to monsters. However, when Hinako learned that she would be eaten, she smiled. When Hinako was a child, her family died in an accident. The only survivor, Hinako, longed for death, but with the obsession of keeping her family's memory alive, she lived on in a daze. Fortunately, her friends always cared for her. But one day, something unexpected happened. Her friend was kept behind after school because of some academic issues, so Hinako went to the beach near the school to pass the time while waiting. The next moment, her foot was tangled by a bundle of hair, and she tripped. At the same time, bubbles started rising from the water, and a strange shadow appeared on the surface. When Hinako looked closely, she saw it was a monster, who was muttering that it had finally found her. The monster had been searching for Hinako's special blood for a long time and was finally able to taste it. Saying this, the monster dragged her into the water. In the water, Hinako didn't resist. She thought that dying like this would be fine because she would finally meet her family again. Slowly, she lost consciousness. When she woke up, she found that a girl had saved her. The girl had risked her life to pull Hinako away from the monster. She told Hinako not to move, and then went to fight the monster by the shore. Even though the scene was bloody, Hinako wasn't scared. After the battle, the girl held Hinako's hand and introduced herself as Shirori, a mermaid. She had come to the land to eat Hinako, but now, she wouldn't. Shirori explained that Hinako's blood would only get better and tastier, and until that day came, she would protect her. At that moment, Hinako's friend found her. By the time Hinako realized what was happening, Shirori had already disappeared. The next day, Hinako returned to school, and a new student had transferred in, Shirori. In order to eventually eat Hinako, Shirori had even disguised herself as a student and was constantly watching over her. But this situation was painful for Hinako. She didn't understand why Shirori hadn't just eaten her. Shirori, on the other hand, didn't understand why Hinako wanted to die so quickly, but Hinako didn't want to explain. Seeing her distress, Shirori explained that just like livestock such as pigs and lambs have the most suitable time to be slaughtered, the same applied to Hinako as her food. She hoped that Hinako would grow up safely until the right time came. However, in Hinako's heart, she just wanted that day to come quickly. But the only one who could send her to her death was Shirori. If not, her wish would never come true. The next day at school, Hinako's friends seemed upset. She had noticed that Hinako, who had always been her best friend, was now getting along so well with the new transfer student. So, in front of Shirori, she declared that Hinako was her best friend. After class, Hinako immediately asked Shirori not to eat her friend. Upon hearing this, Shirori finally understood why Hinako was upset. It turned out she was worried about this. Shirori reassured Hinako that she had no intention of eating her friend, but she also explained that every monster has its own preferences. Some like young men, others like newborn babies. But Hinako was extremely rare, as she was the type that all monsters found irresistible. What intrigued Shirori even more was that, after realizing her situation, Hinako wasn't afraid at all. Hinako didn't expect that Shiori's deep, penetrating eyes seemed to see through her thoughts. Shirori had promised to protect her from being eaten by other monsters. Back home, Hinako looked at the empty room, which reminded her of her childhood. She was in pain and wanted to end her life. Just then, the doorbell rang. It was Shirori, inviting her to a summer festival. But Hinako didn't like crowded places, so she didn't want to go. Upon hearing this, Shiori's expression changed. She had promised to protect Hinako, so before anything else, Hinako had to take care of herself.